It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Defended in the corner!
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win! The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker! Kenny Walker! Touchdown! Spotty!
Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up.
Yes!
Caught! Touchdown Detroit Lions! They did it! Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end!
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here! A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Good Tuesday morning to you. It is the second day of May 2023. We welcome you here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports and Network. Danny Cahalan, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us. No matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio as well. From Traverse City down to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City, we say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. You can text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000 sports radio to 21000. Our Meyer Supercenter guest line, 248-951-2176, 248-951-2176. We're on Twitter at XP Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros. And, of course, good morning to our television audience as well on BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Add a .com to that to find our website. Danny Cahalan is a Dan in the studio. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. And I'm Anthony Bellino at AAC Bellino. Gentlemen, good Tuesday morning to both of you. How are we today? What's going on over there?
Dan and I were already debating this morning.
Already?
Yeah, because we were talking about Tyrese Maxey. And Dan said he's probably like the 7th best player in the series. And I countered like he is definitively 5th behind each team's big 2.
But my whole point was, my gosh, the Pistons don't have a Tyrese Maxey, and he's not even close to the best guy in the semifinals of the Eastern Conference.
Telling you, bro.
We are so far away. It's laughable.
It is tough. I mean, would you raise that's a really interesting but very unique observation to try to kind of bring it full circle as to how far the Pistons are actually away from being a legitimate contender.
And then I said, the Pistons are 5 years away from being the Celtics of 2 years ago, who were getting made fun of for losing every year. They are 5 years from that.
No.
Well, you have to do something in free agency other than putting Corey Joseph on the court.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they don't get Wemby, then
because what's the difference between like a Derek White and Corey Joseph? Like, that's the staggering truth of it.
Well, I mean, shoot, you could bring in like Malcolm Brogdon.
That's exactly who I said. I was
Dan
like,
said Malcolm Brogdon was better than Tyrese Maxey.
At points in his career, he certainly was.
Oh, he's a former Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
And he was a second-round pick, too. Like, he was his rookie season, he came out, and nobody was prepared for Malcolm Brogdon. Like, who the hell is this guy? I thought for sure when I saw James Harden show up in that clown uniform with the I don't know what's going on.
It was Met Gala night.
So those were the clutch jeans. Somebody's.
It's the clutch jeans. That's pretty good. That's good use of Twitter. Twitter's undefeated when it comes to stuff like that. He showed up to the arena. I'm like, look at this clown, bury this fool, and no Embiid, no problem. Kind of interesting how that works out, right?
Well,
saying
it's different when you have a few days preparing, knowing you're not going to have Joel Embiid. You have time to make a game plan.
What do you think that meeting was like? They're
Hey,
like,
James Harden, score 40.
Here's the ball.
Like,
well, the rest of us will figure it out.
Or Shaq had his what does Philly need to do? Harden needs to go for 35 plus, even for 45. Tyrese Maxey needs to go for 25-ish. He scored 26. And Tobias Harris needs to go for 20-ish. Got 18.
Toby.
And then after the game, Shaq goes, yeah, I've won 4 championships. I think I know what I'm talking about.
Oh, man, that's great. I didn't see the reaction from Charles. Charles had some good ones though. They've been cutting snippets and posting them all over the internet, and they are hilarious.
No, he's just like, I don't think I could play in today's NBA with all the switching, because the guards are too good.
Yeah, it's a lot. People are like, oh, they don't defend. The Warriors put out a video, and it said count the fouls, and Steph Curry was trying to bob and weave through Sacramento's and people are just reaching in and hacking him left and right.
Charles did say something last night where it's like the Boston only had 10 fouls last night. He was like, it means you aren't trying hard enough on defense if you're only fouling 10 times in a game.
Oh, defensively, the Celtics are an absolute disaster. They can't stop a nosebleed defensively, and that's like I know that people are gonna laugh because they're NBA players. They're gonna score 100 points. They should.
Please tell me you saw Tobias literally go into the key and then realize Al Horford was standing in front of him, so he did a whole half circle and let Al Horford get behind him, and then just drove down the lane and laid it up. Embarrassing.
So where do I go? What do I do? I'm back out. Nope. Psych. Gotcha. But as professional basketball players, they should score 100 points in 48 minutes. Like, this isn't college hoops where, you can only practice.
Your point gets lost in game 2 already.
Well, one team scores 97.
Not 100.
Right? Not 100. 97 is 100-ish. Right? So, but my point is that it doesn't shock me when
it's not
going
to be the
100.
2004 Pistons where the games are 80 to 70.
I can't believe the Suns didn't score 90. That is crazy to me. That they put that roster, they traded all that away for Kevin Durant. They're going to get bounced. They are too. They're going to get bounced in the Western Conference semis. How sad is that?
When Denver gets a healthy Jamal Murray, he was pretty much MIA for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Remember bubble Jamal Murray? How electric he was?
Electric. There's a lot of electricity in that bubble.
It's just sad. How can 2 guys go for 59 and you score 87 points?
It's exactly what we talked about yesterday. Where else are they going to get any scoring? If their big 4 don't do it, they don't have anybody else. There's nobody else. Like, well, you're telling me that's why you traded for Kevin Durant and got rid of Bridges? That's interesting. I mean, I'm not saying that Bridges is a better player than Durant, but there might have been a little bit too much in that trade for Kevin Durant, who's never gonna lead you to a title.
I don't think Michael Bridges was gonna be the. I think the Suns they're a lot of flash, no substance, even with Mikal Bridges. You have Chris Paul on your team. Your destiny is written that you will lose before the finals.
Destiny. The other piece of that is that you have, I just refer to Mikal Bridges, but Cam Johnson, kind of important. Jay Crowder, kind of important. 4 first-round picks. Those are going to be important. Like, that's awful. That's awful. Poor Matt. Hey, but I do want to talk about what Matt Ishbia might have cooking up on that side of things too. So we'll get to that a little bit later because that's a pretty neat story. All right, we got an update on Austin Meadows as the Tigers look to get back in action. They'll see some old friends against the New York Mets. We'll talk about that next here. X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Have you ever played golf at Tullymore, St. Ives? Have you experienced a stay-and-play package in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of Grand Rapids? Well, here's what you need to do if you want to take advantage of great deals right now. Go to TullymoreGolf.com. That's TullymoreGolf.com, and you'll see the link for packages, accommodations, dining, meetings, weddings, events, and so much more, and especially golf on the 18-hole layout at Tullymore and the 18 holes at St. Ives. And they can accommodate any group, whether it's 2 people getting together or 200 looking for a weekend or an overnight celebration. That includes a little business, golf, great food, and beverages. Just go to TullymoreGolf.com. That's TullymoreGolf.com. They're located in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of GR. Get more info at TullymoreGolf.com.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go! James! No, first base! Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street. You're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
An air and sea search is continuing for possible survivors of the Edmund Fitzgerald, a 729-foot ore carrier, which apparently broke apart and sunk last night on Lake Superior. The ship and its 29-man crew vanished in a storm.
The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down at the big lake they call Gitchagumi. The lake, it is said, never gives up her dead when the skies of November turn gloomy.
Is today the day?
No, Gordon Lightfoot passed away yesterday.
Really?
Yes. Sorry, I saw you trying to
I was trying
confirm, and we couldn't get on the microphone.
No, Gordo died. R.I.P.
So.
Wow, that's tough.
Ontario native.
What a song, the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Do you think Jim Harbaugh took today off?
No.
No.
He doesn't take days off. He doesn't get sick. He's a jackhammer. It's one of my favorite quotes of all time.
I think just out of respect, he would take breakfast off, I think. He would just play the song on an hour loop, so it played 3 times, and then he'd go on with his day.
Wow. What a track. Gordon Lightfoot passed away. How old was he?
84, I believe.
Oh, geez. That's a life well lived. Scary, isn't it? It's right around the corner.
Yeah, I think his only number one, I don't think that was number one, but I think his only number one was 1974. So.
Wow.
That's a long time afterwards
70s.
to be chilling.
I still think about the 70s like it's 20 years ago. You know, that's like it's 1994 right now. That's just not the case. That's just not factual. Like it's not 1974 was not 20 years ago.
That'll be 50 years ago next year. So
incredible. Funny how time flies. All right, so we have an update on Austin Meadows for the Detroit Tigers. The Tigers claimed a right-handed reliever, Braden Bristow, off of waivers from Tampa Bay yesterday. Bristow's going to make the 40-man roster that's occupied, and his spot's occupied by Austin Meadows, who was placed on the injured list on April 8th due to his nerves. By moving Meadows to the 60-day injured list, the Tigers free up the spot. They're able to make the acquisition, make the signing. That's great. And now Austin Meadows will not be able to rejoin the team until at least the second week of June. I don't think that we're going to get anything from Austin Meadows. Like, I don't think that. I think if you were hoping that maybe he was going to, I just don't foresee that happening. And you get a 28-year-old who came up with the Yankees system, made his major league debut for the Rays on April 13th, pitched 3 scoreless innings, struck out 4 against the Red Sox, but he was optioned to AAA Durham the next day. Struggled in his last 2 outings with Durham. I don't know. Meadows has been around the team regularly during home games and over the last few weeks and has done some on-field workouts, but I don't know. Second time that Meadows has stepped away from the team. He shared publicly back in September that he was dealing with issues that were, quote, keeping him from the game I love so much. He played in 36 games last year while dealing with physical injuries and mental health challenges. And although Meadows, we thought maybe in the spring, okay, played 5 regular season games before stepping away. I think you just say goodbye. I think that's it.
I mean, are we looking at a medical retirement, something to that effect?
It's a very strange territory because it's not a tangible injury that you can see. You can't look at an X-ray and it's not like when certain players get injured, if they blow their knee or for whatever reason, it's like a hamstring or a quad, and they can't, like basketball, you can't jump anymore. Like they just can't get off the ground. They can't run. You physically can't do something. That's something that we can see. And so when we can see that, we tend to like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense, right? Like Tiger Woods, you could physically see him not be able to walk correctly because he got injured in a car accident. But neither here nor there. Like we can see it. When it's a mental health issue, that's not something we can see. And I don't know, I had a really good conversation with the Tigers fan a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about Austin Meadows. And he's like, you know what we didn't have when we were kids? I said, what's that? He's like, anxiety. And I was like, really? He's like, no, it's called nerves. I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense.
When we were growing up, every kid was diagnosed with ADD or ADHD and given Ritalin.
Yeah, not this kid.
Well, that was
pretty common, though.
Yeah.
You have ADD?
I think that was our common thing growing up, is that every
you
kid was given an attention disorder and handed medication.
Wants to play outside? Like, you're not outside enough? Like, you're not physically active enough to do, like, that's why, like, you feel certain ways? Like, you think people that are physically active that have manual labor, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have time to feel anything. You got to get the next thing done. We're just sitting around all day, a bunch of couch potatoes. Like, what did you think was going to happen? You think we're going to get depressed? Yeah. Now all of a sudden it's like everybody's got nerves. Well, you're going to be nervous to take it. Like, if you're a kid, you can't have crippling anxiety. Like, you just got to get them out there. It's fine. They have to be able to work through it. I wonder if we're already seeing more of this at the college level. And what's interesting here, Dan brings up the point of medical retirement. If you do that at the college level, they have to keep you. They have to keep you on the tab. Like, you might not be. You can be relieved from your athletic responsibilities, but you'll stay on academic scholarship if you have medical retirement due to mental health. What are they going to say? Can't prove it. Just kind of is what it is. So I don't know. I don't know what to do with Austin Meadows. I don't know what to do with this ball club. Dan had some really interesting stats during the break that he was firing away that I think that he should share with you guys because it just put in perspective on where this team is at right now. Do you happen to have those stats handy?
Yeah, 1 second. Hang. Oh. You're putting me on the spot here.
I didn't mean to do that.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, you go ahead. You let me know when you're ready, and then.
All right, the Tigers.
Wow, that was fast.
28th in average, 29th in on-base percentage, 29th in OPS, 26th in home runs, 24th in stolen bases, but they are tied for 4th, 99% fielding percentage.
But what's their team exit velocity on hard hit ground balls to shortstop? Who did I hear yesterday talking about young people and analytics? Mike Wilbon. They were talking about baseball and the writers. He's like, yeah, but we're not 30-year-olds, Tony. We're not 30-year-olds. These kids just have a new analytic for everything. And I was like, wow, Mr. Wilbon's yelling at me right now. But no, I'm all for it. Like, the hell with those analytics. Can you come in? Can you win games? Can you pitch more than 5 innings?
I saw a guy, Ryan Spader, Ace of Spader, on Twitter. He was talking about he kind of gave me a little bit more perspective on what WAR does. So a team of WAR players, like replacement level players, would, according to analytics, win 44 games. What people are looking at now is average players, which a team of average players would go 81 and 81. So,
yeah, a made-up number.
Tell me
Brian Kenny could try to sound smart and just sound smug for the last 7 years.
So you mean to tell me
they're going instead of wins above replacement players, wins above average players now?
So what are we going to call this? Going to be the WA?
Yes, WAA.
So what are replacement? Are those like scabs?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a AAA call-up. Wow. So we're gonna get rid of an imaginary character named a replacement player, and we're going to substitute that with another imaginary player named average player, neither of which will ever touch the field. We're just going to grab numbers. We're just going to grab MLB averages and then compare, like, small brain moment here, but
yeah.
Like, how do they ever come up with what a replacement player's value was?
That's a good
That's
question.
all I ever wanted to know.
It was a made-up stat so they could give Mike Trout his first MVP.
And people think I'm a conspiracy theorist. Unbelievable. Hey, by the way, real quick before we got to hit the break, I do want to let you know Max Scherzer will start Wednesday for the against the Tigers, while Justin Verlander will make his season debut in Detroit on Thursday. So that's a lot of fun. Get the old gang back together. We'll step aside. We'll come back. Pete Prisco, another great NFL mind, maybe great NFL mind, has a great grade for the Lions draft. We'll talk about it next year. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids, and now they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew. Now, Dorn Mayhew is an east side firm. Now you get the west side of Michigan with Bean Carter, and whether you're a small business or big business, they can handle all of your accounting and business needs at Bean Carter. Just go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I mentioned with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew, they cover all of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast. Find out how the pros at Bean Carter can help your business today. Go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I know Tom Rosenbach and his team are so happy about their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew.
The 1-2. Right side, there it is! Hey, sports fans, here's a hanging curveball that you can knock out of the ballpark. This is Matt Shepard, the voice of Detroit baseball, inviting you to step up to the plate at Eagle Casino and Sports, the mobile sports book where you can bet on all your favorites all year round, including, of course, our national pastime. So download the app and start winning today. Eagle Casino and Sports, made in Michigan, made for Michigan. Must be 21 years or older and in Michigan to play.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go! Go! No, first base! Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street. You're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. I just can't. I understand the story and why it's people follow it and get excited about it. Like Dan, you're a fan, but for me personally, when it comes to professional wrestling, like all I'm asking for is like actual conflict. Like when they hit him with the kick.
Okay, did you think that at the bare knuckle boxing championships the other day, did you think that was a real conflict? Did you see the standoff?
The bare knuckle boxing championships. Where and when did that take place?
It was over the weekend, and Conor McGregor was there, and the guy who had won the fight, he had actually like some sort of wrestling name. They called him like Pretty Perry or something like that. I don't know. He was fighting, and he broke this dude's jaw. It was pretty disgusting. And then he called Conor to the ring, and they had a little face-off, and it seemed like it might go down. But I don't think Dana is too happy about that.
Yeah, I can't imagine. If McGregor's under contract with UFC, he's not gonna fight. Bare knuckle boxing, that takes some stones right there. By the way, outside of boxing, one thing you don't want to do, and I see more and more of these videos kind of circulating the internet. Just let's keep play going out there on the golf course, and let's not fight anybody out there. All right, that's not the time or place. If somebody's hitting up on you, they're making you feel uncomfortable.
Which video did you see?
The one that took place in Lakeland, Florida, and the guy in the red polo who's in the group like walks up to the other guys. Oh, Ranger, where the bleep have you been?
Oh, yep, I saw that one over the weekend too.
Hilarious. The guy's like, oh my God, we're gonna go viral. Get your phone out, video this. Like, there's no reason to be wrestling out there on the golf course. Slow play happens. If somebody's playing faster, you just let them through. Be like, hey, just go through. Those people are going to be really appreciative. And I want to start something new that if you do have beverages in your cart and you are going to play through, a group's going to let you through, toss them a brew. And let's make this the kind of a thing. Like, hey, thanks a lot. Here you go. If they drink, like, hey, you guys got any drinks? Like, you want, whatever. Thanks. This is our token of appreciation. All right, and that will help pass that on. But golf season is here. Matt Golden and his team, they want to make sure that you don't fight anybody. But what they do want to make sure you do is fight your way to Canadian Lakes is what you need to do. It's an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. Up north golf without the drive. Located smack dab in the middle of the state, so it's easy to get to no matter where you are at. Tullymore not only features top-of-the-line golf, but also top-of-the-line accommodations and the perfect space for your wedding event, reception, or group outing. TullymoreGolf.com. TullymoreGolf.com, or call 1-800-972-4837. 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. All right, so I was thinking about just the draft, right? I haven't gotten over it. Am I going on too far with the NFL draft? You could tell me if I am. Like, am I talking about the NFL draft too much?
I saw your what you were going for in the sheet here, and I don't know if I'd agree that at what your point is, because I think the fans are coming around to it.
And this isn't me like attacking the fan base, right? And I don't know, maybe fans is the right way to put it, but even after the first two picks, while we all kind of like scratched our heads and was like, that's interesting. I get into the group chat, which is pretty has a pretty diverse group of opinions here as far as, people, they're not all Lions fans. A majority are. There's a couple of random fans like Tennessee and, the Browns, Baltimore, like just some random stuff. But outside of that, like most everybody's a Lions fan. And I feel like I've been going back and forth with them over and over and over again. And I saw this Pete Prisco, this thing from CBS Sports get sent in there. And Pete Prisco gave the Detroit Lions an A. He said, quote, I love the pick of tight end Sam Laporta in the second round. He's a playmaking tight end who can run like a receiver. Jared Goff will love him. The offense will be better with his skills. Worst pick, can you like a player and not like the pick? That's the way I see it, 12th overall with Jahmyr Gibbs. He's a running back who is more of an airbag. An airbag. What is an airbag, Pete? But I still think he went too high. You don't take backs that high. The skinny. The Lions general manager Brad Holmes did some really good things over the weekend. They have positioned their roster for now and for the future. If third-round quarterback Hendon Hooker is good, I don't like taking a back high, but Gibbs might be more than that. Watch out for the third-round defensive tackle, Broderick Martin. He is a power player inside. Nice job. And I keep seeing more and more of things like this where a lot of different analysts across the realm are giving the Detroit Lions a really good grade. And after day one, I thought that a majority of fans really hated the pick. And that could be for very, very much what Pete Prisco said here, is that 12th overall for back is high, even though Bijan Robinson went higher. And if Jahmyr Gibbs is a better receiver, then, but regardless of that. And I feel like as the draft went on, more and more people started to kind of maybe get on with the same way of thinking. Like it felt like as the draft continued, more people began to kind of like what the Lions were doing. I am interested in the defensive tackle from Western Kentucky, Broderick Martin. That is an interesting pick. Obviously, if you listen to the show, you know how I feel about Hendon Hooker and the position there of addressing the backup quarterback spot to where, you have a legitimate player that is your backup, and you have someone that can grow and work within the system. He's going to fight to be a starting quarterback. I did see a report yesterday. I don't know how accurate this is, that the Lions are looking at doing some sort of, in the next 15 months, which is a long time, but looking at some sort of extension for Jared Goff. It's just something I saw on the internet, so I cannot confirm, cannot deny. If you guys saw it too, and it is true, please do let me know. But I think that will concern Lions fans a little bit. I know that it will.
Well, I don't know. I don't know who the writer is, but I think we can all take a guess. But the Freep just put out a link. Maybe you could check it out, Anthony, because I can't. I'm not a subscriber. It says the Lions are in for a good old-fashioned QB controversy.
Not already. And
I'm not joking.
Not already.
Just now.
Just now, today.
Yeah, just moments ago.
Carlos.
It has to be.
Understand?
I mean, it has to be, right?
Carlos, take a deep breath.
Will you call him so we can talk to him tomorrow? This is one of the things that when you are taking, let's say if CJ Stroud would have been there, so you have your $30+ million going to Jared Goff, you have a very expensive contract now going to CJ Stroud, and then you have, okay, what are we going to do? Are we going to trade Goff? Are we going to keep CJ? Do you redshirt CJ for a year this year? All of these hypotheticals, right? That's if they took quarterback. And if Bryce Young would have fallen or something crazy. Hell, maybe even Anthony Richardson, for all I know. And Richardson might have been a little bit more. This would have been easier with Richardson than with the prior two quarterbacks, Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, because Richardson hasn't played enough. Like, I don't need my man's 14th career start of high-level football to come at the NFL level. Like, that's not a recipe for success. That's why he's going to struggle with Indianapolis, because they're not going to be – I hope that they are patient enough with him, but they're not going to be patient enough with him to allow this thing to work out. But by taking Hendon Hooker this late, you really don't have – I don't see any sort of quarterback controversy at all. At all. Like, if he's physically unable to play, that's one reason why we have no quarterback controversy. But even if he was ready by week 1, I still don't think that you're going that direction.
He's not even close. He's nowhere near going to be the starter. He's going to he might be the practice squad guy.
100%. Well, yeah, he might start in practice on the practice squad, but they're not going to play him over Jared Goff. Like, it doesn't the obsession with, like, hey, Jared Goff is a really good quarterback. Jared Goff is the second best quarterback the Lions have ever had. The only other quarterback that's better than Jared Goff is Matthew Stafford, that the Lions have ever had in franchise history. That's I mean, success, numbers, it's all there. Like, it's all there. Like, come on. You can't deny that. But there's this obsession because he's not cool. Because people are like, oh, yeah, he's reserved when he talks. He's a regular guy. He's just kind of laid back. If Jared Goff had Jimmy G's look and style, this town would be all over him. All over him. If he went to the podium like Joe Burrow and had a little bit of that snarky edge, a little bit of that sarcastic cockiness, they'd love him. They'd love him. But he doesn't have that. He's just kind of quiet, and he can get you 250 yards and no touchdowns and win you a game. That's what he can do. He can go for 303 scores, too. Seen it both ways. Seen it work. But as long as at the end of the day it's a win, it doesn't really matter. The Hendon Hooker, like that we can not have to worry at all about quote-unquote quarterback controversies. I think that's one of the worst things in sports. Everybody loves the backup, right? We know this. My Michigan fans, we just went through this. Remember the first 4 weeks of last season? You remember that? On, off, on, off. Who's going to be the starter? Is it going to be Cade? Oh, what about JJ? He's got all this talent. Well, Cade just went to the Big Ten. It's just all. I wonder if JJ would have played it all against Georgia. If that would have made things different. Everybody loves the backup. I just don't think that's a
going through that right now.
Yeah, Michigan State fans, welcome to the party. I don't think that's a legitimate argument to have in regards to Jared Goff and Hendon Hooker. What I need Jared Goff to do is worry about taking this team to the next level, which is to win the division. That's what we need Jared Goff to focus on. What we need Hendon Hooker to do is to attach himself to Jared Goff's hip, allow Jared Goff to work, and soak everything up that he can. And if called upon, DEFCON 1, the place is burning down, he is prepared to step in and make a throw. That's what we need in year number 1. I'm at work listening to the Bros on my birthday. Great way to start the day. When we get our starting pitchers back from injury, will they still be good? That comes from Nate on YouTube. Hey, Nate on YouTube, first off, happy birthday, my friend. Love when we all get to celebrate together, all our friends and family here on this program. That's kind of how I like to think of us. Nate, not only our starting – I don't know if our starting pitchers will ever be healthy. I don't know if they'll ever be good. I did see something yesterday that said they were talking about Torque and Spencer Torkelson being the most disappointing rookie since – and then somebody said Casey Mize, and I was like, oh, wow, that's spicy. Spicy meatball right there. I like the fact that – so back to the – Prisco in the draft grade. I do like the fact that more and more people jumped on the Lions bandwagon, but I think that happened right about when Brian Branch was selected. I'm interested in Sam Laporta. Is he George Kittle? I don't know. We'll see. Jack Campbell, Alex Anzalone, Malcolm Rodriguez. Like the linebacker is a position that needed to be addressed. They address it. Now people are kind of like, oh, I don't know. Because there's one highlight of Blake Corum giving him the business in the open field. Like, you're going to, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Like, you're one-on-one with a running back. Every once in a while, you're going to get beat. So I'm not going to take somebody else's highlight and pin it against you and go, oh,
Aiden Hutchinson had that highlight versus Kenneth Walker.
Aiden Hutchinson had that highlight against Georgia for 4 quarters. Got the snot beaten out of him. He was
Things
fine.
Turned out well.
Yeah, like it'd be fine. Like a couple low
players get got sometimes.
That's competitive sports. It happens at every level. You're never gonna no one's undefeated. You're gonna get burned every once in a while. Get over it. And it happened. But the fact that it was floating around from a Michigan account too was like, oh, look at this, and I'm like, don't do this. There's no reason to do this. And we'll see. But a lot of the professionals out there who may have questioned the early pick of Gibbs. I think that's what it all comes down to is where Gibbs was selected. But regardless of that, most people really like what the Lions have done here. And I think it goes back to that whole we're kind of media darlings. Haven't, outside of the Jameson Williams thing, really haven't had any off-the-field sort of controversies or anything of that nature. We'll see what happens when J-Mo comes back, but I'm not ready to move off of the young man. I'm not ready to call it quits on him. I'm interested to see if Antoine Green from North Carolina can make this team and what that might add just from a size standpoint. But, we have Marvin Jones, so I feel good about the wide receiver room. I feel really good about running back right now. I feel good about quarterback. I feel great about offensive line. Defensive line, I think that the front office believes that the defensive line is better than what you think it is. I think that they feel like they got their guys, and that's why they used their pick elsewhere. because why else would you? They're like, no, our interior is good. We'll add a little depth with Martin later on. But our edge is fine. And outside of Aiden, we don't have that big monster contract out there, so that's great. Let's get a linebacker. Let's get some more secondary help. Like, I really like the position. You know, all things being equal and everybody being healthy, I really like the position that the Lions have given themselves right now. And more and more of the national media members seem to agree with what Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell have done, which is very, very exciting stuff. We had playoffs last night. We'll have playoffs again tonight. Love the playoffs. NBA playoffs action means big hoops action over at the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the association. Get in on all the excitement of every game with the touch of a button, where new customers can make a $5 pregame moneyline bet, score $150 in bonus bets if your team wins, plus everyone can score a no-sweat same-game parlay every day during the NBA playoffs. Open up the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, and place a same-game parlay on any NBA game. If it doesn't hit, you'll get a bonus bet back up to $10. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and sign up with the promo code HUGE. That's promo code HUGE only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Now, if you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline at 800-270-7117. 21 plus, Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Opt-in is required. One bonus bet issued based on the amount of the initial losing NBA bet. Eligibility, wagering, and deposit restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. Hey, speaking of wagering, did you guys see that story, LSU and Alabama baseball over the weekend?
I was just reading a little something on that, how the state of Ohio banned people from betting on those games specifically.
Yeah, there was some activity. A lot of bets were flowing in, and they said, wait a minute, something doesn't smell right here. Why all of a sudden is Alabama, LSU getting all this action here? That's suspicious. And that's what they do. They stare at the lines. Where's the movement? Where's the money coming at? Pretty crazy story there. The game in question, I believe, was Saturday. LSU had won like 8-6 or something. They were the favorites to win the game, so I don't know. We'll see.
I think it was 8-1 when all this money started flooding in. And then ended 8-6.
It's like that's pretty interesting.
So yeah, to our Ohio people, can't bet on Alabama baseball right now.
Yeah, don't bet on anything in Alabama if you're in Ohio. I don't know why you would. Why we do that? I saw a really good poll question too yesterday. What do you want more in 2023? This came from Pizza Man. Freddie says the Wings land number 1, the Lions win the division, the Pistons land number 1, or Torkelson hits 20 home runs. Overwhelmingly, Lions win the division. Like the two number ones.
Because that's real success.
Great success. Yeah, a draft pick isn't success, and Torque hitting 20. That doesn't mean anything either. We'll step aside. We'll be back with more X's and Bros after this here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Got any plans for Mental Health Action Day? You do now. Join us online on Thursday, May 18th from 7 to 9 p.m. for In Tune, a free live stream event featuring performances and conversations with the Verve Pipe, Barrel Bones, Carlos Sese, Cole Hansen, and more. Visit IUnderstandLoveHeals.org to find out how you can log in and join the celebration for free. May 18th is Mental Health Action Day. Take action. Visit IUnderstandLoveHeals.org and join the celebration.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids, and now they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew. Now, Dorn Mayhew is an east side firm. Now you get the west side of Michigan with Bean Carter, and whether you're a small business or big business, they can handle all of your accounting and business needs at Bean Carter. Just go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I mentioned with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew, they cover all of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast. Find out how the pros at Bean Carter can help your business today. Go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I know Tom Rosenbach and his team are so happy about their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go! Go! No, first base! Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street. You're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
Huge here for all the Mr. Car Wash locations. I think there's close to 30 across the Huge Radio Network. For the one close to you, go to MrCarWash.com, and there you can join their Unlimited Wash Club. Now, this is a quick and convenient way to keep your car shining all the time. It's everything you love about getting your car washed in a simple, easy-to-use, affordable plan. As an Unlimited Wash Club member, you will enjoy all the benefits of washing as often as you like, no long-term contract, convenient monthly billing, and now you can be rest assured with a contactless visit. So go to MrCarWash.com right now, sign up for their Unlimited Wash Club Pass, and that means you can get your car washed at any Mr. Car Wash location across the Huge Radio Network or anywhere in America. And for the location close to you across the Huge Radio Network, you can also log on to MrCarWash.com.
Good morning, everyone.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
How are you?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a good morning. Wake up to a brand new day.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here on this Tuesday morning, the second day of May 2023. X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. No matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio as well. From Traverse City down to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City, we say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you to join the program at any time. You can text the keyword Sports Radio. Send that to 21,000 Sports Radio to 21000. You can call us on the Meyer Supercenter guest line, 248-951-2176, 248-951-2176. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros. And, of course, good morning to our television audience as well on BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Add a .com to that to find our website. Danny Cahalan is the Dan in the studio. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. And I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. All right, what's going on in the world of sports? We'll try to get you all caught up with all the happenings. We'll do so right now in the headlines.
Big news.
I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
No, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories in the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
All right, huge news. Let's get it started off with a couple of games in the NBA playoffs last night. The Denver Nuggets take a 2-0 series lead over the Phoenix Suns, 97-87. Winning the game by 10, both teams scoring under 100. Wow. Phoenix under 90 points. My goodness. The Philadelphia 76ers, without Joel Embiid, just beat the Boston Celtics by 4, 119-115. James Harden was absolutely incredible. More on that game coming up. But Philly takes a 1-0 series lead and steals game one on the road. Wow, that's big. In the Battle of the Hudson, the New Jersey Devils against the New York Rangers. Game 7, Devils come out at home, beat the Rangers 4-0. Wow. New York. Love to see them suffer. Love to see it. The Met Gala, Met Gala, was last night. And why is this important? Well, everybody, Patrick Mahomes was all dressed up. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was all dressed up. Serena Williams was also dressed up and announced that she and her husband are pregnant. So she posted a picture, said, was so excited when Anna Wintour invited the three of us to the Met Gala, and it was just her and her husband. So the three of us, meaning that, hey, baby number 2 is on the way, and that's what she wanted. So congratulations to her. The University of Wisconsin is investigating wide receiver Marcus Allen's arrest on a weapons charge. He's facing a charge of carrying a concealed weapon after officers found a gun on him at a block party over the weekend, according to Madison police. Allen was one of more than 40 people arrested at the party on Saturday on various charges. Madison Police Captain Michael Hansen said yesterday the police had referred the concealed weapon charge and a municipal alcohol-related charge to the district attorney's office. You know how I feel about this. Why are you toting a gun on campus? What is wrong with you? What kind of activities are you up to? USF running back Michael Dukes is facing a felony domestic battery charge. So University of Southern Florida has had to suspend their senior running back indefinitely from the football team following his arrest Sunday on a felony charge of domestic battery by strangulation. Oh, that's not good. He gone. Hey, speaking of the Devils, by the way, advancing past their rivals. The Devils, the New Jersey Devils, right? Oh, God bless them. Their first series win since, I think, 2012. So we've had a couple of those streaks now come to a close. So good for some of those franchises. The Devils will now take on the Carolina Hurricanes in the second round of the Eastern Conference playoffs, which begin tomorrow night in Raleigh, North Carolina. Hurricanes beat the Islanders in 6 games. So it's the battle for the teams that eliminated the New Yorkers. Snoop Dogg has joined Nico Sparks' bid to buy the Ottawa Senators. Yes, Snoop D-O-double-G. I don't know what this is going to look like, but the Ottawa Senators may have their first black NHL owner, and Snoop D-O-double-G wants to be a part of it. Good for him. The New York Jets are bolstering their offensive line group. They signed tackle veteran Billy Turner. Got to do something with Aaron Rodgers, the slow-mo video. Did you guys see that yesterday, the slow-mo video of Aaron Rodgers dropping back? I just want to know where – I didn't see Zach Wilson anywhere on TV. Where did he go? The Broncos have picked up wide receiver Jerry Jeudy's fifth-year option on his rookie contract, so congrats to him. Terrible tragedy took place in Tampa, Florida yesterday. Buccaneers linebacker Shaq Barrett, his 2-year-old daughter drowned in the swimming pool at his home. According to a statement from Tampa PD, officers arrived at the residence just before 9:30 in the morning after receiving a call that a child had fallen into the pool. The child was then transported to a local hospital and pronounced dead shortly thereafter, despite attempts to save her life. Tampa PD say an investigation is ongoing. Araya was the youngest of 4 kids in the Barrett family. Shaq is 30 years old, entering his 5th season with the Buccaneers, and has been named to the Pro Bowl twice, including 2019 when he led the NFL with 19.5 sacks. His season was cut short last year due to a torn Achilles, and that is, you know what? It's hard enough to deal with like the actual events that are taking place, but then to know that, yeah, you're going to have to go through a police investigation like that, just nobody wants that. Suns guard Chris Paul exited Game 2 with left groin tightness. Chris Paul, I don't want to say this and have it come out the wrong way, but when it comes to Chris Paul, like, have we ever revered somebody more who has done less in his career than Chris Paul? I'm being dead serious. Like, who would you rather have, Chris Paul or Chauncey Billups?
Are we talking basketball players only?
No, we're talking highlight. Who's better at the plate, Chauncey Billups or Chris Paul? Yes, basketball players.
I mean, I'm just wondering because you just said, is there more revered people that have done less with their
Tony
career?
Romo was put in the Hall of Fame 4 games into his career.
We've wasted many good careers around here.
In hoops, in basketball, do we think that anybody is greater that has achieved less than Chris Paul? I don't know, man. I really don't.
There.
He's in that conversation of like, oh,
I mean, I would put Kevin Durant there just because he hasn't done it other than, going to the best team in league history.
But that's the thing. Chris Paul got sent to the Clippers, and it was Lob City. He goes to Phoenix, and he's like, you're joining Devin Booker.
But the Warriors
Phoenix was terrible. Phoenix was terrible for years. That's all people talked about was how they couldn't get anything going because it was just 6 young dudes. And then Chris Paul showed up, and they were great. They just haven't done anything in the playoffs.
Russell Westbrook was there, but then everyone turned on him. So he doesn't get revered anymore.
Well, yeah, he can't shoot. Everything went to hell in a handbasket for him. James Harden with 45 in that game last night, by the way. Did you see what he showed up dressed like? What did you say? Somebody said they showed up with a clutch gene. I don't know what he was wearing. Who knows what was going on.
It was in honor of the Met Gala.
Well,
he couldn't be there, so he had to show up and show out.
Yeah, show out. He's all right. He showed up in that, and I took the bait. I was like, look at this clown. I'm the clown. Put the red nose on me. Guy gets 45. And Nikola Jokic, MVP effort. I like how they phrase this in the headline. MVP effort leads the Nuggets on the eve of the announcement. Oh, wow. By the way, 39 points, 16 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, gives Denver a 2-0 series lead. Oh, and by the way, the other guy who's up for the debate, Joel Embiid, didn't play last night. I don't know. I think we should wait for MVP voting. I think we should wait till the playoffs are done. I think that could really – I know we have a finals MVP, and we're going to have we have our Eastern Conference and Western Conference finals MVPs, the Larry Bird and, Magic Johnson trophy. He's made a bunch of trophies up. But I think that you should save MVP for the person. I know it's like the season, but the season does include the postseason as well. It's the entire 22-23 campaign, as a whole. So you had great regular season numbers.
But then it turns into short-term memory, and then someone who only had 3 good weeks wins the MVP because that's all a writer can remember is what happened in the last 3 weeks.
Tough to remember what happened 3 months ago. We'll step aside, back with more X's and Bros after this here on the Michigan Sports Network.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go! Go! No, first base!
Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street. You're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
Have you ever played golf at Tullymore, St. Ives? Have you experienced a stay-and-play package in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of Grand Rapids? Well, here's what you need to do if you want to take advantage of great deals right now. Go to TullymoreGolf.com. That's TullymoreGolf.com, and you'll see the link for packages, accommodations, dining, meetings, weddings, events, and so much more, and especially golf on the 18-hole layout at Tullymore and the 18 holes at St. Ives. And they can accommodate any group, whether it's 2 people getting together or 200 looking for a weekend or an overnight celebration. That includes a little business, golf, great food, and beverages. Just go to TullymoreGolf.com. That's TullymoreGolf.com. They're located in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of GR. Get more info at TullymoreGolf.com.
Life as a grown-up. Not what you thought it would be, right? The meetings, the stress, the boredom, and that one big question, does any of this matter? Then you became a cop. Not what you thought it would be, right? The pride, the honor, the love for the brothers and sisters who served with you. The family who reminds you how much you matter. Being a cop, not what you thought, right? Just what you needed, I guess. Visit MichiganPoliceChiefs.org.
A beat on the beat.
And state as well.
Share your thoughts all morning long on the Meyer guest line. Call 248-951-2176. That's 248-951-2176. Now, back to Danny, Ryan, and AB.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you right along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide. Whether you're streaming us on the iHeartRadio app or watching our YouTube channel, we say good morning to you. We welcome you here. It is 18 minutes after the hour. Fantastic. Firing all of your thoughts on a myriad of any of our topics, or if you have a topic of your own, feel free to share. Sports radio is the keyword that you text to 21,000. Once you opt in, you don't have to do that every time. You could just literally go to 21000 and send us whatever you'd like via text. Meyer Supercenter guest line 248-951-2176, 248-951-2176. College athletes need to pack on campus now with all the money they're now stealing. Making now. You and I make money. I don't feel the need to pack on campus, so that's just me. Yes, Miguel Cabrera, fifth best right-hander at best. And before you call me names, look at his playoff and World Series stats and look at the top 5 right-handed hitters. They're incredible stats, and how much even further Miggy is sliding down with his year's numbers, WAR, etc., soaking up meaningless years, staying. Have a great day, boys. It's unfortunate that in 2017, things took a turn for the worse for Miguel Cabrera, and the end of the road was near. He can't play in the field because he can't play the position. He doesn't really give you anything at the plate anymore, so it is that's a rough swan song. Feel bad.
And just don't get me started on the playoffs and World Series. Guess what? There were no playoffs, okay? There weren't playoffs until the 870s. Like, it was in 1968, all the right-handers that made it into the World Series, they just went from the regular season into the World Series. That's how it worked.
Yeah,
I don't need to hear about all the playoff leaders.
I'd see it then.
The game. There's 50 playoff games a season now. It's ridiculous. Like, if you played every game, what would you play? 35 playoff games?
If every series went 7, right? I mean, it's a lot. It's a second season is what it is. You know, you work hard all regular season long to get into that tournament, and now we just have to feel like anybody has a chance, right? And so that's where the NBA is kind of catching up a little bit. Hockey's always been there. Baseball's always been there, and of course the NFL. I mean, it's a 60-minute game, so anybody can have a really good 4 quarters, and other teams might have a big lead and blow it. You know, LA Chargers, right? All right, it's hour 2. It's segment 2, which means it's time for Will. Will is in. Where's Will at? Compton. Where's he at?
Comstock
Park. Maybe Will in driving to somewhere. It's time for his favorite segment of the show. It's time for. Oh, it's a doozy. This is an impossible. This is what Will was making fun of us for yesterday. You know, he said the first question's like, what color's the hockey puck? The second question is, this is a second question. He was the 8th overall selection from the Michigan State Spartans in the initial pick in the first NFL draft in 1936. Who did the Lions select with their 8th pick? Former Sparty. Pick number
Washington.
8 overall. Who?
Gene Washington.
Gene Washington. It's incorrect.
Yeah, he was in the 60s.
This isn't. Okay.
I'll go with George Washington.
George Washington. Also, what if I give you a hint and how we're going to pair these names together? The last name is the same spelling and same name, basically, of a pair of brothers who recently played basketball at the University of Michigan.
Okay.
Do we know who that is?
Howard.
Are you talking Howard?
Did I get the wrong brother?
Are you talking about
Incorrect, yeah. I forgot all about Jet. Okay, a pair of brothers that are both actually good and NBA players now.
Okay, Wagner.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not. It's probably Wagner.
It's Wagner, okay. And then the first name
It's not
is
Honus
the name,
Wagner.
It's the name of a guy who once had a 5-year plan in the film Big Daddy.
Sid
Wagner.
I can't believe you pulled Sid that quick. It was going to take me like 10 seconds.
He's too old.
This is your 5-year plan?
What,
Working at
not to
Hooters?
die?
That's great. Oh, that's great. Sid. Shout out to Sid. Oh, man. I had a lot of fun. See, Will?
For a guy that didn't have a plan, he had a sweet bachelor pad.
You talking about Adam Sandler?
Yes.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Very industrial.
Well, yeah, Jon Stewart was paying for it all with his salary.
That very, very industrial sort of look there. It's kind of neat. I thought about doing something like that in my house. I'm like, nah, I don't have the right setup.
You're gonna knock down 6 walls in your house?
No, I just meant like that. Like the
open floor plan,
open brick.
Just like you know, how people are using like the piping for like their shelving units now.
Yes,
like stuff like that.
Yeah, the wrought iron.
Ooh, yeah. That's what I was looking for. All right, so I wanted to throw this out there too because did you know that the USA Today has already put out a college football top 25? Did you see this?
But I've failed to look at the way too early 2024 mock drafts. I always love looking at those to see where they try to place. Not like, is there going to be one of my college players in there? Like, no, where are you going to put the Lions? Like, what pick are you putting them? Who are you putting at pick 32?
The players, it's just going to be quarterback. It's going to be like Caleb Williams and Spencer
Caleb
Rattler.
Williams, Drake May.
Drake May, incredible arm. Look at the arm strength. Guy's going to chase him around with a broomstick. It's going to be great. But in the college football, post-spring practice, way too early top 25, they have Georgia at number 1, which makes sense. They have Michigan at number 2. Now, I get that you have Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum. I'm not real sold on a whole lot of things. Number 2, Alabama at number 3. We'll see what Jalen Milroe and redshirt freshman Ty Simpson are going to be able to pull off there at quarterback because we have a little bump in the road here as far as Alabama not really knowing who to go with their quarterback. So they got some work to do.
By the way, you were talking about the way too early drafts. This was McShay's way too early last year. I saw this yesterday. C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, Will Anderson, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Jalen Carter, Anthony Richardson, Jordan Addison, Will Levis. Pretty dang good.
Only one of those guys didn't go in the first round. And Will Levis
incredible.
was the second pick of the second round.
That's because Will Levis threw for like 130 yards against Florida.
Yeah. Well, against everyone. He does not have a great year. I'm looking at PFF's way too early mock drafts right now.
Oh, really? Who do they have?
Well, right now, Arizona gets the first pick via Houston. Takes Caleb Williams.
Oh.
Then Arizona has a second pick because they stink and take Marvin Harrison Jr.
Wait, so Arizona is going to take quarterback at number 1 and move on from Kyler Murray?
According to PFF right now, yeah.
Interesting. Well, I mean, that's why you don't do these big guaranteed contracts. That's why you don't do that. Like what they did, what the Cleveland Browns did, what Baltimore just did, with the amount of upfront guaranteed money. That's what makes the NFL special. I know it's not always fair.
I can already throw this mock draft out because they have the Packers taking a wide receiver in the first round.
We know that's never going to happen.
Yep.
No. In the way too early top 25, just to round out the top 5, Penn State was 4, Florida State was 5, according to USA Today. Georgia, Michigan, Bama, Penn State, Florida State. Wow, pipe dreams. We'll step aside. Back with more X's and Bros, diving back into the association next here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids, and now they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew. Now, Dorn Mayhew is an east side firm. Now you get the west side of Michigan with Bean Carter, and whether you're a small business or big business, they can handle all of your accounting and business needs at Bean Carter. Just go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I mentioned with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew, they cover all of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast. Find out how the pros at Bean Carter can help your business today. Go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I know Tom Rosenbach and his team are so happy about their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go! Go! No, first base!
Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street. You're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Can't call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000 or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now back to Danny Cahalan, Ryan Elke, and Anthony Bellino.
Hey, folks, the NBA playoff action means big hoops action over at the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the association. Get in on all the excitement. Every game with the touch of a button. New customers can make a $5 pregame moneyline bet, score $150 in bonus bets if your team wins. Plus, everyone can score a no-sweat same-game parlay every day during the playoffs. Open up the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, place the same-game parlay on any NBA game, and if it doesn't hit, don't worry, you're going to get a bonus bet back up to $10. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code HUGE. That's promo code HUGE only at DraftKings. Now, if you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117. 21 plus, Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Opt-in is required. One bonus bet issued based on the amount of the initial losing NBA bet. Eligibility, wagering, and deposit restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. So let's talk about it a little bit, shall we? I did see yesterday that somebody, a prominent sports and now a news media member, was talking about the upcoming series between the LA Lakers and the Golden State Warriors. And it was revolving because game one tonight on TNT, 7:30 tip-off between the Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler. What's his status going to be? He was seen taking pictures with fans, so we'll see if that ankle, I mean, it doesn't matter to me if he takes a picture. You stand for a picture. It's not like he's running, jumping, trying to guard the fans. So, Jimmy Butler's taking photos with fans. He's going to be available. Like, I don't know if that directly correlates, but whatever. And then at 10 o'clock, both these games on TNT, the LA Lakers will take on the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry's 15-7 against LeBron James. That's a lot of meetings between the two of them. And I'm glad that this prominent media figure was talking about Steph Curry because he said something that I have been saying for a very long time, and it might finally be catching on and getting some national traction here. And that is the fact that it's not who's going to overshadow who. Like I saw that today or yesterday. It was like, is LeBron James overshadowing Steph Curry's greatness in the playoffs after Steph's 50-burger in Game 7? It's like, no, you people just don't stop talking about LeBron James. Like, that's what it is. Like, he's not overshadowing anything. It's the fact that, you guys just obsess over LeBron. But when it comes to Steph Curry, nobody has been more influential to the game of basketball in his era and the most influential player since Michael Jordan. And Michael Jordan had, the dunking ability, the branding, which is a huge part of this as well, right? You have to be able to have the brand. Like, what did Michael Jordan mean to NBA fans? And no, this isn't just another tired MJ versus LeBron debate. This is Steph Curry having an impact on fans across the country. So Steve Kerr was at the podium, and he was talking about, what he saw when playing with Michael. And what he saw when playing with Michael is that you would have different, you'd be on the road and you would see, red 23 jerseys everywhere. He's like, now when you show up on the road, you see, blue and white or blue and gold 30 jerseys everywhere. And that is because Steph Curry, by himself, changed the way that we look at basketball and changed the way that we play basketball. Because the difference is, and I don't want you to get caught up, like, what are you talking about? Nobody, unless you're gifted the athletic ability, just a God-given gift, you're not going to be able to jump out of the gym like LeBron James. Odds are you're probably never going to be 6 feet 9 inches tall either. Like, if you know somebody that's tall, they're like a freak. The average height of a male in the United States, like what, 5'10", roughly 5'11", maybe, give or take. It does feel like we're getting bigger, like taller. So that's, maybe a positive. But the average, he's not an average human being. He's 6 feet, somewhere between, he lists himself at 6'8", because we had that whole thing where NBA players were telling everybody they were shorter to make it seem like their accomplishments were greater or something ridiculous like that. But he's somewhere between 6'8" and 6'10", LeBron is. I think he's about 6'10", 250. I think that's pretty safe to say. Incredible physical condition, incredible shape, has been one of the best players of his era. And for a long time was the best player of his era. Consistently taking his teams to the playoffs. He would leave a team, they would go to the lottery. He'd go to a team, he'd take them all the way to the finals. Like that's just what it was. It was a crazy long stretch here before Father Time has kind of caught up to him, and having this debate
8 straight finals on 3 different teams.
It's pretty crazy. Like single-handedly just taking teams. Like get on my back, I got it. Like it's a hell of an accomplishment. But he's just great. Like, he's just great. He's an all-time great. Like, that's what he is. Whether you have him at 2 or at 3, wherever you place him. But Steph Curry, because he's only 6'3", right? It's only 6'3", but he looks like a kid out there. He's 6'3", he's about 180 pounds, and he never stops moving. And he gives all of the kids someone to look at and be like, wait a minute, I could be that guy. Right? Because you're not going to be LeBron James. I hate to break it to you. And so when you're screaming at your, 6th grade basketball coach about why your kid isn't, getting 30 points a game, it's like, because we score 30 as a team. Knucklehead. Your kid's not going to be LeBron James. Your kid has a better statistical chance of becoming Steph Curry. And that's why he is so influential, because he makes everybody believe that, hey, I can do this. That he changed the way that we look at basketball with his ability to accurately shoot from deep. And so you look at the trickle-down effect. No 6th grader's going to dunk it, but you know what they want to do? Hand an 11-year-old a basketball in a wide-open court and see where he starts shooting from. They all want to shoot deep now. All of them. They don't do a layup. They don't shoot free throws. They don't want a 15-foot mid-range Rip Hamilton. They don't want to go Jimmy Butler. They want to shoot like Steph. And it's changed it's changed basketball. We look, and then we took a deep dive into analytics, and we got the Sport View cameras all over the arenas that are, tracking how many dribbles a player takes before he shoots it. Like, Steph Curry's the engine of that car. We know it. They know it. Everybody knows it. Like, without Steph, I don't know what the Golden State Warriors are. And had Klay Thompson never got injured, who knows? That's a big if. But, injuries and back-to-back, like, that's the poor guy. I'm just glad he's back out there on the floor. And so you're gonna get the Lakers against the Warriors tonight. It's gonna be 10 o'clock. I know it's late. I know it's really late for all of us here. But what exactly is at stake? I don't think that this is a legacy defining. That no matter what you see on television today, this isn't going to be some legacy defining series where if one guy loses, oh my God, and one guy wins, no. Like, they are drastically different players, Steph and LeBron. And they are all-time greats. Stephen A. Smith was talking about it recently, where Steph Curry might be the greatest point guard of all time. Now, I think that there's a little bit more that goes into it, just because I think you have to be able to, be a staple defender. He's not that. He has gotten better. But I don't know where... this is one of those where I'd like to be able to see the eras. Like, I'd like to see an Isaiah Thomas and a Joe Dumars go head-to-head against Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, because it's the only tandem backcourt that I think, off the top of my head, that would have a realistic chance at stopping the two of them. And it's going to be a very tall task. You got the defending champs against LeBron James, who's a 4-time champion himself. You have the history between these two clubs, well, between the club and the player. That would be LeBron James against the Warriors. Everybody's expected to be available. And this is one in which you look at how the Golden State Warriors have had success versus how the Lakers are going to go as LeBron goes. And really, they're going to go as Anthony Davis goes as well. Truly, they need Anthony Davis to be able to be, halfway competitive in this series. And I don't have any faith or any trust whatsoever in Anthony Davis's ability, because every time he falls down, it's like this big ordeal where, oh my God, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? He's injured again. It's his hand. It's his hip. It's his thigh. He's got contusions. Like, what? Like, come on, bro. You gotta be at least a little tougher than that. But I look at this and it's like, okay, so you have Anthony Davis. Who's going to guard him? Is that going to be Draymond Green's assignment? Is that going to be, basically what they're going to have to, like Draymond, Kevon Looney? If Kevon Looney rebounds like he did in the last series, Lakers are in for a long haul. Then you have Rui Hachimura. You have D'Angelo Russell, who's having a little bit of a resurgence. We talked about that yesterday. Good for him. You hate to see a guy whose entire career in life just gets kind of, thrown in a blender because one off-the-field issue with a teammate and Swaggy P, and now all of a sudden, guys don't want to play with him, and he's just got all this baggage following him all around. You don't want to see that. But that, like, the question is, you have Anthony Davis and you have LeBron James, and who's going to guard who here? That's what I'm most looking forward to in this series, because D'Angelo versus Steph, Austin Reeves, a.k.a. White Mamba, LeBron.
Hillbilly Mamba.
Hillbilly is it's Hillbilly Mamba. You're right.
Hillbilly Kobe. That's what it was.
Hillbilly Kobe. What an all-time great nickname. But they don't really feature a whole lot coming off the bench. Like, you have Dennis Schroeder. Yeah, that's about it. Like,
all-time bag fumbler, Dennis Schroeder.
Oh man, overvalued himself. It happens from time to time. If you're the Warriors, and a lot of people are picking the Lakers in this series, I just don't see how you could ever argue against the consistency of what the big three in Golden State have brought. Draymond, Clay, and Steph are an all-time trio. And this is where's Shaq at when we need him. Like, Draymond has 10-ish points, 10-ish rebounds, 8-ish assists, plus or minus. Like, they're going to win the game. Like, that's what's going to happen. If they can get anything from Kuminga off the bench in limited minutes, Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole have been good supplementary pieces for this team, obviously when Wiggins is available to him. But if Looney is on the glass, all Looney's got to do is be physical with Anthony Davis. He doesn't want any part of that. He wants no part of somebody that's going to try to push him around.
And Jordan Poole has to show up this series. He was not good versus the Kings.
That would help. He needs to be a 15-ish to 20-ish point kind of guy.
Yeah, and he was just all over the place. Just watching him, it seemed that he was trying to do too much.
You get that young players that have some success early, and then the success fades a little bit. Then you start to press a little bit.
I think just the position he was put in, just in that King series, just the few times I was noticing it, where it's like when he was out there was no Steph, there was no Clay, so it's like, all right, it's my time.
Yeah. Don't press.
And I feel like that's the good and the bad of Jordan Poole. Of when he's on, it's like, oh, wow, this kid can go for 50. Mm-hmm. And when he's off, it's like, this kid will miss his next 50.
He might never make another basket again. Yeah, but he's got to be able to figure. They have to be able to figure this out, and he has to be able to figure this out. If Steph and Clay are off the court, and it's Jordan Poole and Gary Payton and Dante DiVincenzo, like, the three of them almost have to view themselves like Steph, Clay, and Wiggins, and continue to have some semblance of, like, structured offense. Because you might think it's all razzle-dazzle, and a lot of it can be razzle-dazzle at times. But when you watch Golden State play, when they are at their best, they're moving the ball, and then you have the all-time guy. You have a very much a Rip Hamilton. Steph Curry is Rip Hamilton with a longer range and a better handle. But that's what he is. The guy never stops moving. Never stops moving. And that makes it a very, very tough cover. And as long as those three, Peyton, Poole, and DiVincenzo, as long as they continue to kind of mold their offensive game around that same theory of move the ball, move without it, I don't know, man. If I had to pick Warriors in 5 or 6, and I feel really confident in that, like I really do. I need Draymond to not have any kerfluffles here. stay eligible.
What game number does Draymond get his first technical?
Hell, that could be tonight.
That
You know he got teched on his first ever NBA bucket?
Good for him.
Did you know that? Richard Jefferson was on the team. And Draymond Green knocked down a bucket and got a technical foul.
I mean, that checks right for Michigan State players. Do you remember Plaxico Burress' first NFL catch?
Plaxico, wow.
Do you remember what happened?
No.
He made a sliding catch, not touched, stood up, spiked the ball. Fumble. The defense recovered.
Good for him. I mean, talk about fumbling the bag. Oh, my goodness, Plaxico. But this series, to me, very intriguing. You're going to get a lot of, I think you're going to get a lot of fluff storylines. You're going to get a lot of, crap in there. This series doesn't define LeBron. It doesn't define Steph Curry. But Steph Curry does have the edge. Just so you know. And I don't think that there is a debate on the better player. I don't know, to be honest with you. Because there's so much, it's so difficult when the two guys play two drastically different positions. Like, at least when LeBron's small forward, power forward, it's somewhat comparable to a shooting guard a little bit. But when Steph's your point guard and he's running the offense, it's a little bit different. When you got.
And with the Lakers, it's not going to be, oh, well, LeBron needs to do this for the Lakers to win. It's no, Anthony Davis needs to be the player everyone makes him out to be.
Yeah.
If there's a game where he all of a sudden goes into his little shell and gets hurt, the Lakers are done.
Done. And you have two guys that are 4-time NBA champions. You got a 2-time MVP in Steph, 8-time All-NBA, a steals champ, All-Star Game MVP, a Finals MVP. You got a lot here for Mr. Wardell Steph Curry II. It's impressive. If they win, I think the Warriors still have a legitimate shot. I know they were terrible on the road this year, but a lot of that comes down to the fact they didn't have their full complement of roster. And now that they're, now you have everybody available, it's a little bit different. Like a 44-38 regular season record, Pistons fans would throw a party for something like that, and that was a disappointment. Like the fact that they didn't get to 50 wins is oh my God, what's wrong with the Warriors? The fact that they really struggled all season long trying to find any sort of win on the road, but then your last two games of the playoff series with your backs against the wall, you win Game 5 on the road, you win Game 7 on the road. I think that that's very, very important. In Staples Center, I'll be interested to see what Staples Center looks like. But Game 1 going to be at the Chase Center tonight, 10 o'clock TNT in the Bay Area. Should be a lot of fun. Like I said, you're going to see a lot of crap over the next couple of days, because that's what it is people throwing stuff at the wall about who's who and the legacy defining series. And I don't believe that that's that. I think that they're both all-time greats in their own respect. I just think that Steph Curry's one of the most influential, if not the most influential player since Jordan. We'll step aside. We'll come back. Hour number 3, X's and Bros, coming at you next here on the Michigan Sports Network.
In the den. Hey, sports fans, here's a hanging curveball that you can knock out of the ballpark. This is Matt Shepard, the voice of Detroit baseball, inviting you to step up to the plate at Eagle Casino and Sports, the mobile sports book where you can bet on all your favorites all year round, including, of course, our national pastime. So download the app and start winning today. Eagle Casino and Sports, made in Michigan, made for Michigan. Must be 21 years or older and in Michigan to play. Tonight, the Tigers venture back into interleague play. The Mets are in town, a team that is going all in to win the World Series this year, spending almost $370 million on its payroll. What does money buy in sports? We associate big spending with big winning, but it hasn't made a massive difference for the Mets yet. And it didn't move the needle much last season for the Angels, White Sox, or Red Sox, all of which were among the biggest spenders in 2022, but none of which made the playoffs or even finished above 500. I get why fans, especially Tigers loyalists, want ownership to spend, but it's on whom you give the contracts, not how much, that matters most.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go! Go! No, first base!
Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street, you're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. Spin the money wheel and win up to $100,000 cash. Every Saturday in April from 5 to 11 p.m. One winner each hour will spin for the win and take home up to $100 grand. Whirl in for $100,000 money wheel. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
We might have just come out with our most refreshing Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer yet. It's called the Essential Collection. It's made with coconut water and real fruit juice, so it's always going to have a real refreshing fruit taste. Can refreshing get any more refreshing? Yep, it can, and it just did. Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, made with coconut water and real fruit juice for superior taste. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, IRC Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
If you or your family is touched by autism, learn more about Freddy's Foundation at #PopTheTap at FreddyThePizzaman.com. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com, or email FreddyThePizzaman@gmail.com.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Gets Benny in the corner.
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker! Kenneth Walker! Touchdown! Smarty!
Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up.
Yes!
Caught! Touchdown Detroit Lions! They did it! Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end!
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here! A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Good Tuesday morning to you. It is the second day of May 2023. We welcome you back here to X's and Bros for hour number 3. Danny Cahalan, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio as well. From Traverse City down to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City, we say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you to join the program at any time. Text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000 sports radio to 21000. Myers Supercenter guest line 248-951-2176, 248-951-2176. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros. And, of course, good morning to our television audience as well on BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Add a .com to that to find our website. And find us all individually on Twitter as well. Danny Cahalan is at Dan in the studio. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. What's going on in the world of sports? We'll try to get you all caught up with all the happenings. We'll do so right now in the headlines.
Big news.
I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
No, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories of the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
Well, after an off day yesterday, well, I guess a lot of days have been off days, but a day off yesterday maybe, the Detroit Tigers will be back in action, 6:40 first pitch against the New York Metropolitans. Dan, will you be working this game?
No, I'm off this series, so you might catch me at a couple games.
Oh, you're going to be out and about with the fans.
I'm definitely going to Thursday's game.
Do a little. You're doing a little meet and greet, a little party with the people.
Sure, come hang out. If you're free on Thursday afternoon, I don't know how you're not going to go see Justin Verlander pitch at Comerica Park. I'm sorry, if you don't have anything to do, why would you not be there?
Are you ready for this in back-to-back days? Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander? Are you ready to sit there and remember the glory days?
Yeah, maybe. Well, Jake Rogers was the product, right, of the trade.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it?
What's
so
left of it?
Maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll finally get to see the true outcome of the trade.
If AJ Hinch wants to protect Tigers fans and for Twitter's sake, Eric Haas will be starting pitcher on Thursday. Because we don't need to see Jake Rogers go 0 for 3 with a golden sombrero versus Verlander.
What if Scherzer or Verlander, now whether they go the complete 9 or not, what if they go out there and just toss an absolute gem?
What do you mean, what if they will?
You think they're going to give it to him back-to-back nights?
Well, this is also
even the games the
Scherzer's.
Tigers win, they score 3 or 4 runs.
I'm talking 7 innings, 1 hit, maybe. Well, they're definitely not a walk because we're not going to have that kind of patience.
A hit by pitch.
7 innings, 1 hit, 8 to 10 strikeouts.
I mean, that's what I'm just expecting in general.
Complete game, no hitter, back-to-back nights.
That would be hilarious, actually.
Dude, it would be great. How would you not, secretly are you going to root for them to be successful?
I don't have to be. They just will. But I'll enjoy watching them pitch again in Comerica Park.
All right. bring you back a few years. That's good. Serena Williams announced that she is pregnant with her second child. So they did that at the Met Gala. Her and her husband. Don't know what his name is. Wisconsin is investigating wide receiver Marcus Allen's
He's a billionaire.
Yeah, tech billionaire, right?
Yeah, I think he owned. Does he own Reddit? Maybe.
Yeah, that's
something like that.
Like
one of those.
Yeah, founded something like that. Good for him. On all accounts. Can you imagine like your wife is a professional tennis player and you just show up and just cheer on? And now they don't have to do anything. Like now you don't have to work at all. You just work just to stay busy. But outside of that, you just kind of hang out. Wisconsin investigating wide receiver Marcus Allen's arrest on a weapons charge at a campus party. More than 40 people were arrested at a block party. I can only imagine what that looked like in Madison, Wisconsin. Like that had to be, it had to be pretty rowdy to get for a campus party to have police show up. Sometimes it's like one little noise complaint. Next thing you know, boom, there's a weapons charge. USF running back Michael Dukes is facing a felony domestic battery charge by strangulation. So they got a call on Saturday from someone reporting that Dukes physically assaulted them. While investigating the matter, deputies learned that there was a verbal argument between the person and Dukes. At some point, the argument turned physical. That's when deputies say that Dukes strangled the other person. Who is this other person? Like, I assume that it's because it says domestic. I assume that it's a female, but who knows? Not really sure. Could be a roommate. The New Jersey Devils taking out their rivals 4-0 last night in a Game 7. That's just an absolutely atrocious performance from the New York Rangers. And then you start to think about, well, look at the 24 hours that the TD Garden has seen. Ugh, you lose Game 1 last night to the 76ers without Joel Embiid. James Harden goes crazy. Oh, and the night before, the best team in NHL regular season history got eliminated by a team that backed their way in as a wild card. All at the Garden. Boston fans, you deserve it. They're melting down, too. There was a montage of callers calling into, I think it was WEEI out there in Boston, one of the massive sports radio stations in the country, WEEI. And people were losing their minds, fire everybody. Like, it's hockey. There have been, 32 President's Trophies handed out to crown the regular season champion? Only 8 of them have gone on to win the Stanley Cup. Like, the odds are not in your favor, folks. There's a 75% chance you win that trophy, you do not win the Stanley Cup. It's hard to do. Snoop Dogg has joined Nico Sparks' bid to buy the Ottawa Senators, looking to become the first black NHL owner. And the Ottawa Senators, of all teams, it depends on what clubs are available, but Ottawa Center. Can you imagine Snoop in Ottawa? The New York Jets bolster their offensive tackle group by signing veteran Billy Turner. Got to see some slow montage videos of Aaron Rodgers dropping back to pass. Just please let it implode. Please. That's all I want. I don't know where this rivalry between me and the New York Jets. The rivalry between me and the New York Jets began because the Jets, I don't care about the Jets. Like, they made a couple playoff runs in the early 2010s with Mark Sanchez, Rex Ryan, the butt fumble, that stuff. Curtis Martin. Like Curtis Martin a lot. Bart Scott. I like Bart Scott. But ever since the Zach Wilson shenanigans started here on this program, I have had a strong hatred for the New York Jets. And even though we went on the road and beat them in their place, it was still like, oh, Robert Saleh.
It was way too early mock drafts I looked at, and both of them, New York Jets were picking 27th.
27th. That's interesting. So they got him in the divisional round, huh? Broncos pick up wide receiver Jerry Jeudy's fifth-year rookie option, so he will stay with them, get a nice little pay kick. Linebacker Shaquille Barrett's 2-year-old daughter drowned in their family pool yesterday. This happened about 9:30 in the morning. Officers at Tampa PD responded, saw that a child had fallen into the pool. The child was transported to a local hospital and pronounced dead shortly thereafter. Tampa PD said an investigation is ongoing. The 30-year-old Shaq Barrett, entering his 5th year with the Buccaneers, been named to the Pro Bowl twice, including 2019 when he led the NFL in sacks with 19.5, and then his 2022 campaign was cut short due to a torn Achilles. But I can't even imagine. I mean, losing a child in a home accident like that, like losing a child in general, then in a home accident, and then having to deal with the investigation that follows, like, no thank you. Like, I just, that's just awful. Suns point guard Chris Paul exited game 2 with left groin tightness. Playoff CP3. He's ready. Denver Nuggets win 97-87, take a 2-0 series lead. The game prior to that, 76ers win by 4, 119-115 over the Boston Celtics. So good for them. We'll step aside. We'll be back with more X's and Bros after this here on the Michigan Sports Network.
For a lot of us, music and mental health are intertwined. That's why the Collaborative Lab created In Tune, a free live stream event, and you're invited. May 18th is Mental Health Action Day, so take action for your own mental health by joining us from 7 to 9 p.m. Musical performances and conversations with the Verve Pipe, Br0's, Carlos Sese, Cole Hansen, and more. Visit IUnderstandLoveHeals.org to learn how you can join the party for free.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go! Go! No, first base! Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street. You're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
From planting a simple seed to managing a global food supply, growing, processing, and distributing food is the backbone of America. You deal with food safety and labor issues, cost control, and not to mention Mother Nature. But do you have time to explore research development and biotechnical tax credits? Properly administer payroll for temporary employees. Ensure that you're operating at your most profitable? That's where we come in. We're Bean Garter. And while your business is America's food supply, our business is helping you run your business better. We'll assist with tax credits, assess your processes and controls, and so much more. And while we may not be able to help you plant your crops, we can help you realize a rich financial harvest. From the family farm to worldwide distribution of all the things you grow, grow your business better. Experience service, expertise, and simplicity at Bean Garter. Find us online, beangarter.com. Bean Garter.
Share your thoughts all morning long on the Meyer guest line. Call 248-951-2176. That's 248-951-2176. Now, back to Danny, Ryan, and AB.
Hey, folks, a reminder, NBA playoff action continues on tonight. You get in on all the big hoops action with the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the association. Get in on all the excitement every game with the touch of a button. New customers can make a $5 pregame moneyline bet, score $150 in bonus bets if your team wins. Plus, everyone can score a no-sweat same-game parlay every day during the NBA playoffs. Open up the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, place the same-game parlay on any NBA game. If it doesn't hit, you'll get a bonus bet back up to $10. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Sign up using the promo code HUGE, promo code HUGE only at DraftKings. Now, if you or somebody who knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline at 800-270-7117. 21 plus, Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Opt-in is required. One bonus bet issued based on the amount of the initial losing NBA bet. Eligibility, wagering, and deposit restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you ride along with us. And want to hop into the Stanley Cup from last night, the Stanley Cup playoffs. And the growing debate over what's legal and what's not legal. And there was a hit in last night's game that isn't look, the game is violent. There's really nothing you can say about it. Like it is the only sport in which we allow guys to actively fight that isn't a combat sport, right? It is full contact. It's played at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and it's punishing. It's exhausting physically, and then once you mix in the opportunity to be able to hit guys, like, it's going to hurt. Now, the game is 2-0. It's the third period, and here, I'll play it for you. This is what happens.
It is not coming. Timo Meyer. Oh, blasted by Trouba and not getting up. Another one of those big hits by Trouba. And Meyer's still flat on his back on the ice.
Look, it sounds terrible. It looks terrible. It looks like it hurts.
The difference in weight and force of this hit changes the outcome. Look, Trouba's coming off the bench, so Meyer doesn't see him. The door of the Ranger bench is open.
Just yard sailed him.
Well, let's bring in
Glove went flying, the whole deal. Comes in off the bench. He's in his own zone. Circling back, Trouba, his team captain. And he lays Meyer just flat out. And people are like, oh, player safety, this player safety. First off, in the game of hockey, it's like running with the football in the open field. You probably need to keep your eyes up. You have to. Now, was it last season? I think it was last season. Last season in my hockey league, the puck gets dumped behind the net. I'm going full speed, and I'm coming in from the right wing. And I didn't see. I mean, I was just focused on the puck getting around the net. I didn't see the opposing player was coming around the other side. And it was an accidental hit. But, it jarred. Right, had a little teeth rattle in there, like, oh, geez, that felt, oh, man, it's like a smelling salt, right? The other person, poor yard sale. Like, it just is what it is. It happens. I wasn't even intentionally trying to hit the person. But I can imagine, if I intentionally tried to hit the person, it's, get the chalk line out. This is what hockey is. And I get that we want to be safe, and we don't want anything bad to happen to anybody. I understand that. But at the same time, this clamoring for NHL player safety, player safety department, they're not even looking at this. And what are they supposed to be looking at? It's a lot different. That hit is a lot different than what took place between Colorado and Seattle when you have a player who is, fishing the puck out around the boards and this happens.
especially when you have two defensemen like those guys. And now Eberle's going to get a penalty. He drilled Cogliano from behind.
Cogliano didn't have a chance. Like he's not even like he's head first, like he's facing the boards. This is the hit you got to get rid of.
Okay, but that I agree. The boarding is not good. But if you actually look at the play, the guy who is hitting him is looking to his right while Cogliano is falling to his left. So the dude isn't even noticing how awkwardly Cogliano is falling.
And that's a fair point because he might have been trying to anticipate Cogliano's going to try to turn up the boards.
Exactly, and
if he
the
does,
other way.
Then we're going shoulder. We're going. I'm hitting you, and your left shoulder is going into the board because Colorado's trying to work from left to right. But instead, you're anticipating Cogliano to do one thing. He turns back left, which means that now the side of his head is facing the boards, and you hit him anyways. This is like that's the hit right there. Like that's the Claude Lemieux, the Draper, the boarding. Like that's the kind of hit that I mean, if you're going to try to make that hit, you got to pause. You do, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. But you almost got to aim to cut off the route, if you will, in which he's going. You got to try to anticipate a couple strides, which can be difficult because if you are skating in front of him, and you think that he's going to be 2 or 3 feet in front of him by the time that you're going to hit him, right? And he turns back left, well, then you're going to have to circle back, and you basically are out of the play at that point. It's not to say you can't recover because you're a professional skater, like you can recover, but it's just it's so very difficult. Like if you see the numbers, you just can't hit them. So that hit right there, I totally understand and get that. Yes, that's one that people can be like upset about and can be, slam your fists on the table. Why in the world is this not being called? Yada yada yada. Whereas the Trouba hit, I mean, this is just it's a collision. Like it's a fair hit. Trouba's like bending down, his eyes are down. Not Trouba. Trouba's coming in and hitting a player. He can't anticipate. Like we're not all the same height. So people are like, we see this in football all the time. Like if a player is taller, the odds of their shoulder or forearm going into somebody's face there's a higher likelihood just based on human anatomy. Like one person's taller, one person's shorter. Not everybody's the same height. So where my head is at might be higher than where your head is at. Your head might be in line with my shoulder. When I hit you, I hit your face. There's nothing you can do about that. Like that's full like I don't want it to go not to slander the Swedes here, but I don't want to play a real finesse brand of hockey. Like, it's not really what I'm looking for. That opportunity, the fear that takes place out there is part of the game. That's what makes the great players great. They can avoid, hits like this because they have their head up. Like you got the puck on your stick, you're fair game. If this is 20 feet away from the play, then okay, yeah, fine, throw them in the sin bin. But outside of that, it's just a clean hit, and it doesn't matter what sweater anybody has on. The guy got rocked. It wouldn't matter if that was Lucas Raymond bringing the puck over the blue line and he was the one that got hit. I would be saying the same thing. Like you got to keep your head up. You don't have a choice. Well, I mean, you do, and your alternative choice is this. It's a lot of pain. And the folks that are losing their mind and going, the player safety department, like that's what hockey is. You might be new to the game here, might be a little bit newer to the sport, but that's what it consists of. It consists of guys skating around at 15, 20 miles an hour, 10 guys skating out in the open ice, going all different directions at a frantic pace for 60 to 90 seconds at a time. The collisions happen. Like it's a collision sport. It's a contact sport. Like you just gotta deal with it. We'll step aside. We'll be back with more X's and Bros after this here on the Michigan Sports Network.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go! Go! No, first base!
Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street. You're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
Imagine this, a day filled with indulgence, bursting with excitement, and packed with extraordinary moments that build memories to last a lifetime. A day that is unmistakably yours, at the place that is undeniably spectacular. Whether you're winning big, dining lavishly, or relaxing oh so comfortably, it's your getaway reimagined at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids, and now they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Doran Mayhew. Now, Doran Mayhew is an east side firm. Now you get the west side of Michigan with Bean Carter, and whether you're a small business or big business, they can handle all of your accounting and business needs at Bean Carter. Just go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I mentioned with their new partnership with Doran Mayhew, they cover all of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast. Find out how the pros at Bean Carter can help your business today. Go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I know Tom Rosenbach and his team are so happy about their new partnership with Doran Mayhew.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you right along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio as well. From Traverse City down to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. Text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000 sports radio to 21000. Or give us a dial, 248-951-2176 on the Meyer Supercenter guest line, 248-951-2176. All right, so there are a lot of thoughts already about Hendon Hooker. And yes, like I am all in. I've been talking about this for weeks. That's the guy that I wanted because I feel like that was the guy that had the right like value for where the Lions would select him. I didn't want him at 6. I didn't want him at 18. I was interested in the second round at some point. But what we are not going to do is have a quarterback controversy in the first week of May, 1 weekday after the completion of the NFL draft. Let's just call it what it is. We're not going to have, because everybody wants to do this until you realize that nothing ever gets done when you actually do this. Like, answer me this off the top of your head. Can you present to me a quarterback controversy that worked out well? Now, I know that if Freddie is listening right now, he's going to go back to Young in Montana, in San Francisco, moving on from Montana, and how it's a little bit of a different situation. You know, we acquired Goff in a trade. Goff's coming off of, one of, if not the best, career year statistically that he's had. I have zero issue with that whatsoever. You draft Hendon Hooker because he is there and you have no serviceable backup, and we are not worried about the area, the value, the capital, if you will. Now, if they would have actually selected Hendon Hooker at pick 6, then you have a giant question mark of what are you going to do? But, because I just kind of went through this at the University of Michigan, and all Michigan fans can relate to this, I just would like to know how that works out, right? Because you have Cade McNamara leading the team to a Big Ten championship, and you have all the fans saying, well, JJ would have done a better job. Okay. All right. And in round 3, Friday, the Lions decided they would select the 25-year-old. The age doesn't matter to me whatsoever. We've talked about this. The age of Hendon Hooker does not bother me because quarterbacks are playing longer than ever. That's a product of how they are now moving the ball down the field. It's a product of how defenses are allowed to play against them. Just everything favors the offense. Don't even look at a quarterback. It's going to be a flag. So when you look back at Hendon Hooker's senior season, throwing for over 3,000 yards, completing just shy of 70% of his passes, 27 touchdowns against 2 picks, and everything. I mean, Heisman frontrunner until the ACL in South Carolina. And you knew when it happened, too, it was a wrap. Like, you could tell the cut, the knee, the whole thing. It was like, yep, he's done. That's it. Like, game over. Now, he said that he hasn't had any pain in his rehab from knee surgery, which is good. It's going to take him a while to get back and to be fully confident and to trust that knee 100%. Now, I think that Hendon Hooker is right now it's about the value of your investment. So you take him in the 3rd round. That's really not that great of a cost for you financially if you're the Lions. You're not making a massive financial commitment to a 3rd-round quarterback right off the rip. Not like it would be if you were selecting a guy 1 or 2 or 3. That is a massive financial commitment to not only that individual player, but that individual position on your team, reminding you Jared Goff's got, $50 million coming in the next 2 seasons. Right? Nate Sudfeld, I'm sorry, no, my apologies to Nate, but I don't think that that's a viable option for a backup in the event of DEFCON 1, somebody got hurt. Somebody's got to come in here to keep the ship afloat. So you have Jared Goff on the team who's coming off a great season, and you draft a quarterback. Quarterback of the future. Quarterback of the future, catcher of the future, everything in the future. like there's always this sort of this idea that exists that in 2 years and 3 years and 4 years, you're going to be good, right? And then 2 years and 3 years and 4 years go by, and where are you? You're in the same place you were 4 years ago. Like, look at the Tigers. That's a good example. Look at the Red Wings. There's another good example. There's always this assumption that it's going to come right back. And in 2 years and in 3 years and in 4 years, we need to be prepared. You need to be prepared to win right now. Like that's really like the window after last year's performance. I would say that the window is officially open for the Detroit Lions. Some things have changed in the division, right? Minnesota Vikings have made some changes. Brand new quarterback in Green Bay. Chicago Bears, who knows what the hell they're doing? Do you really trust Justin Fields? We'll find out. But the window of opportunity has been cracked open. It's been shut for a long time. But it's here now, and there are many do believe that this is the Lions' year to win the NFC North. That's totally fine, but we can't be worried necessarily about 3, 4, 5 years down the road. You want to be able to build your team so that your success, whatever that might be, is sustainable. But when the window is open, it is open. And when it's closed, it closes in a hurry. We've seen that happen with multiple franchises where people are like, oh, okay, you got this close this year. Let's get back, next year, in 2 or 3 years, and we'll get this guy. There's no quarterback controversy here. We're playing for right now. And Hendon Hooker is not the best available option right now. 1, he's a rookie. 2, he's coming off of surgery. 3, we have a $30 million quarterback in place. Let's get to Jay in Kalamazoo. Will beer be served in college stadiums statewide? Good morning, Jay. How are you, my friend?
Hey, good morning.
What's up, partner? How are you?
Good. I live in Kalamazoo, and I can appreciate how you cover the MAC sports, and because they need to get more respect.
Get some action. How about, we had Mr. Irrelevant from my Toledo Rockets, Desjuan Johnson. Last pick in the draft. Remember the name, Desjuan. He's a beast.
So I live in Kalamazoo, and it was in the newspaper where they're proposing to serve beer in Waldo Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you guys know about that? Is that like a statewide thing that they're trying to pass through legislation, or is it a university thing? Do you know?
Ryan, if I'm not mistaken, does Michigan State sell beer to the lower bowl or just to the suite level?
I think you can do it suite levels.
Okay.
No.
But this would be statewide, this new bill.
Oh, it's statewide.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it would be for all colleges.
What do you guys think about 110,000 Michigan fans with the ability to drink beer if you're over 21?
I say you up the age to 25 in stadiums and cut off the college kids going in.
Well, here's the thing. Because I for whatever reason I thought that booze might have been available in East Lansing at the suite level.
I think you can. I think there's some weird rule where suites.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, because at the University of Toledo, at the University of Toledo, booze is available to anybody who wants to buy it. And we don't have any, like when I'm working games there, we don't have any fights in the crowd. There's no problems. Like there's no issues.
Really?
Yeah, I'm telling you this right now. I'm all for it. Like I don't really have the NFL crowd is a little bit different. That's why we see like a lot of those fight videos that take place at NFL stadiums, just because it's a little bit the environment is different. I know it's still football. I know that fans are passionate, but I really don't see a $15 beer being the driving force for problems at the college level, because you got to think about it. At college games, most people are sauced by the time they get in there. And I think that, one of the, like, if you were going to be a proponent of it, you could say this might prevent, people from binge drinking ahead of time.
Well, that's the thing. People get pre-sauced on purpose. It might not be that bad if you're like, oh, I can still drink while I'm in the stadium.
Well, that's what they say, but at the end of the day, I still want to pregame in the parking lot. Like, I don't want to pay $15 for a beer. I want to rifle through a couple of those little shooters and then get the beer bong out and play all the games and have all the fun. And I just with colleges, I have no problem with it. I think you're 21. All the college, like, it doesn't matter to me. It's like this big stigma. Like, if you're going to allow sports betting, like, come on. How are we not allowed to have, since Prohibition, you kidding me?
Is it going to pass?
It should. I don't know if I was a fortune teller, I probably wouldn't be sitting here though. I'd be sitting at the top of the Taj Mahal in Vegas. I'd be out there at the poolside placing all my bets. But I mean, I would pass it. I would vote for it. I have no issue. I mean, worked in sports a long time. Like the NFL crowd is different. Of course, there's always going to be a couple outliers. There's always going to be a couple reckless idiots. That's why you have police there, right? And if there's a small kerfluffle that takes place, we've seen more and more of it happen in baseball games. They're not going to outlaw booze at professional baseball games, and it's a revenue generator. So let me put it to the universities like this: you want money for name, image, and likeness? There you go. Because I'm telling you what, $15 a beer coming out of a keg that might cost you $60. It costs like it's guaranteed. Load up your NIL money based on the alcoholism of your fans. It makes total sense to me.
Yeah,
Wisconsin's going to be a juggernaut in 10 years.
Jay and Kalamazoo, man, appreciate the phone call this morning, brother.
Yeah.
All right, let's get over to Dave in Hudsonville. Dave, good morning to you, my friend.
Morning, AB. Hey, listen, man, they're already drinking beer and cocktails in stadiums at college football anyway, and most college kids aren't going to be able to afford $10 or $12 beers.
Exactly.
They'll be sliding their own in like they've done for decades.
Decades. You know, they get their fanny packs full of little fireball shooters, and, you know, they're kids.
Exactly.
They're going to get creative. They're like narco traffickers.
But, hey, real quick, and the other thing is you're exactly right. The NFL drinking is like a dive bar. It's like going into a whole different environment. Those people, it's a whole different environment than college stuff. But anyway, your conversation on Hendon Hooker I thought was really good in the sense that, remember, Hendon Hooker, before he got hurt, was the odds-on Heisman favorite.
Yes.
And now the injury, and you hate to have anyone injured, but it does give him some time, which he will need to transition, but it also makes perfect sense for the Lions, like you said, with Goff there, because Hooker is going to be a more versatile athlete than Goff, but he doesn't have Goff's acumen or IQ right now. So ride Goff, develop Hooker. It's a perfect spot to do that.
It's a perfect spot.
Job in that. Yeah, it is. And you're going to get a guy, it doesn't matter. He doesn't have that many miles on his tires, so it doesn't matter if he's 25 or not. He can still have a 10 to 12-year career, you know, based on that. But I do think it takes the pressure off everyone. But it gives us a guy who really excelled in college, you know, is coming back but has really good feet, has a bunch of other abilities and so forth, which is outstanding. And the last thing on the Lions draft, I love the fact that they made themselves more dangerous. I mean, I like DeAndre Swift, but he was too fragile. Mm-hmm. And now getting a guy, Montgomery's a horse, he never misses. This guy, Gibbs, can go to the house with it, and he can catch the football. We need to stay dangerous, and then there's still maybe some free agents on the defensive, you know, end front or whatever. And I even like Campbell and the fact that his coach said he'll never leave the facility for 10 years. You know, they're getting the right kind of guys in there.
They're getting Dan Campbell kind of guys is what they're getting. Like, I need somebody who loves football. Right, and I don't know if DeAndre Swift really loves it like that. And I think that we saw a lot of that frustration with Deuce Staley throughout the Hard Knocks series. And one more thing, Dave, to your point about Hendon Hooker and his age, right? If I'm drafting a quarterback, this guy's got to be the CEO of my franchise, right? I need someone who's a little buttoned up, right? I need someone who's a little mature. I need someone who can get out there because they're going to have to talk to the media all the time. They're going to have to answer for every bad play. It's a lot of responsibility there. And sometimes I'll go to like Baker Mayfield, for example. Baker Mayfield, not very buttoned up, kind of a loudmouth, kind of a smart ass, kind of sarcastic. You know what I mean? Just kind of had that attitude edge to him that I just didn't really – it's like that's not going to work. Like Colin Cowherd has this theory about backwards hat-wearing quarterbacks. It's ridiculous, but at the same time, like I get what he's saying. Like I understand what you want with the president of your company. And that is your quarterback.
Yeah. And the first thing you know about him is he's going to be able to deal with some adversity. You know, dealing with this injury, coming back shows the fact that he can fall down and get up, show resilience, show grit. That's exactly what you want from your quarterback. And he's going to experience that now in a safe place where he doesn't have a rush to go on. But, you know, you want a quarterback who knows how to deal with adversity and knows how to pop back. And he's going to start his career that way.
And he's going to start his career being able to learn at his own pace. And I think that is where, for all the physical tools Anthony Richardson has, that is where, like, the Indy fans are – it's not going to be – if you drafted him 4th overall, maybe because it's Indy, they take it easy on him. but he doesn't have enough playing experience. These guys appeared in 13 games or something crazy. Like, I don't want you to come out and make your debut in the NFL and have that be like one of your, debuts at high-level football. Like, I get that they're both Hendon Hooker and Anthony Richardson playing in the SEC. That's as close to the NFL as you're going to get based on the amount of talent that's on the field all at one time. But shoot, like, I would much rather have a guy getting reps against professional players in practice and throughout training camp, sitting there learning from a veteran quarterback. If it worked for Aaron Rodgers behind Brett Favre, if it might work for Jordan Love behind Aaron Rodgers, if it worked behind Alex Smith with Patrick Mahomes, Steve Young with Joe Montana, like, we've seen this sort of process. We've also seen some rookies come in, light the world on fire, right? We've seen it both sides. But I just think that this is a great situation for not only the Detroit Lions franchise, but also the player in Hendon Hooker. Did Dave hang up? I thought I heard him hang up.
He gone.
Dave in Hudsonville. Yeah, I look at that, and there's no controversy. And I'm telling you this right now. I said it an hour or two, talking about Steph and LeBron. I get on Twitter. What is the first thing? LeBron James needs to get past Steph for the final hill on the mountain. I told you that was going to happen. Don't buy into it. Don't get suckered in. Don't get suckered into this nonsense either. Don't even read into it, because there's no controversy there. You need to look at this as a Lions fan, not that the guy who's on the bench is Cade McNamara to J.J. McCarthy. It's not that kind of comparison. It's not at all. You have your starting quarterback in Jared Goff. You have your draft acquisition in Hendon Hooker that is coming in with a fine timetable to learn not only the position but also life as a professional under the guidance of somebody who's pretty level-headed. And I like that about Jared Goff too. Like, I like the fact that he seems like that kind of guy who is going to be able, he understands the situation, knows his responsibility to the team, right? And also sees a young guy coming in where, look, competition is competition, but you both are going to have to be in the same room at the same time. And I think that Goff has got the right temperament to be a very good mentor to Hendon Hooker, whether Hendon Hooker turns out to be a 5-year starter, a 10-year starter, or a 15-year career backup. I think Goff's the right guy for this process. Folks, want to remind you about one of the greatest golfing experiences in the state of Michigan. It's Tullymore Golf Resort and Canadian Lakes, offering not one but 2 championship courses, Tullymore and St. Ives. Vastly different tracks, but you are going to love them both. It's about an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant, smack dab in the middle of the state, so it's easy to get to no matter what direction you are coming from. Tullymore not only features top-of-the-line golf, but also top-of-the-line accommodation, the perfect space for your wedding event, reception, or group outing. TullymoreGolf.com. TullymoreGolf.com, or call 1-800-972-4837, 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. For Danny Cahalan and Ryan Elke, I'm Anthony Bellino saying so long. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
There are a lot of reasons why some people would never want to be a cop. It's not 9 to 5, no 2 days are ever the same, it isn't safe, and it is never easy. There are also a lot of reasons why some people would never want to be anything other than a cop. It's not 9 to 5, no 2 days are ever the same, it isn't safe, and it is never easy. So, which one are you? Visit MichiganPoliceChiefs.org and find out.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go! Go! No, first base! Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street. You're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
From planting a simple seed to managing a global food supply, growing, processing, and distributing food is the backbone of America. You deal with food safety and labor issues, cost control, and not to mention Mother Nature. But do you have time to explore research development and biotechnical tax credits? Properly administer payroll for temporary employees. Ensure that you're operating at your most profitable? That's where we come in. We're Bean Garter. And while your business is America's food supply, our business is helping you run your business better. We'll assist with tax credits, assess your processes and controls, and so much more. And while we may not be able to help you plant your crops, we can help you realize a rich financial harvest. From the family farm to worldwide distribution of all the things you grow, grow your business better. Experience service, expertise, and simplicity at Bean Garter. Find us online, beangarter.com. Bean Garter.
If you or your family is touched by autism, learn more about Freddy's Foundation at #PopTheTap at freddythepizzaman.com. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com, or email freddythepizzaman@gmail.com.
Huge here for all the Mr. Car Wash locations across Michigan. You're going to want to look into that unlimited monthly pass that I use. Superfly Hayes, my producer, uses it. I can get my SUV washed as often as I like for one low price. You can sign up today. Just go to MrCarWash.com or stop by your local Mr. Car Wash location here in Michigan for the one close to you. And to get that unlimited pass, go to MrCarWash.com.